Hi, everyone. Welcome to Merch Money. Tonight we have Cody Hawk with us, and we are all so excited. We almost didn't go live on time because we couldn't stop talking about poker. We promise we'll talk about merch at least partially and print on demand and building a brand and all that practical stuff, but we got to be honest, it's going to be a lot about poker tonight. So. All right, so we'll go ahead and introduce ourselves just like normal. Amy, you want to go first? Either one.
I'll go. All right, hello. So I'm Amy Springer, Merch Marvel. It's been a pretty good week. I've started working on Airtable. I got all my listings pushed over, and then I'm slowly getting all the PNGs now that is super easy. I really like it because I can see how it's already going to change the way that I upload. So that's fun. And aside from that, with merch, I've been uploading every day, at least 20, 30 designs, which is kind of on the slow side, but I've got a lot more stuff going on in the background. So KDP is still doing pretty good. I haven't loaded anything on there, but it's selling. And I'm still doing Inktober, which has been fun. So that's my week.
Awesome. And Brianna, you want to go to Brianna just came back from Ecom, Chicago, the Chicago conference.
Yeah. I'll be home for a short time here, and then I'll probably be heading out again soon. And hopefully I can talk more about that. But yeah, I just got back from a whirlwind of a conference over the weekend. It was an absolute blast. I think we figured somewhere between 200 and 300 attendees. All facets of ecom, like social media, FBA, merch, pod. So it was a great time. It always just goes by too quickly, but it's always fun to hang out with like-minded people, you know?
Exactly.
And as far as just personal stuff, oh my gosh, that's kind of on the back burner right now. Everything is just kind of full blast. Print tech, getting clients set up with their pod empires. I do have some stuff that my virtual assistants are helping me with, but I'm crazy pants. I'm just all over the place and having fun living the way I want to live. So
awesome. It was so cool to see all the pictures. For anybody who didn't see, Brianna was one of the speakers there, so that was awesome.
With my big pimp chains on,
And her Merch Maverick shirt, for anyone who doesn't know, that's her nickname on the show.
Yeah, I never introduced myself. And the whole time I was there, I wore all Merch Maverick, Merch Money, D4D stuff. And actually, I have to say thank you to Flavio. I don't ever know if I'm pronouncing his first name correctly, but when he was at the conference and he's like, "Hey, Brie, I have a question. Maybe you should talk about D4D," because I totally forgot about my own company. I was like,
good job, Flav.
Oh my God, yeah. So I was so thankful for that.
Speaking of which, he's going to be on the show soon. I think he's coming up real soon. I got to look at the schedule, but
awesome. Okay, cool.
Looking forward to having him on.
Yeah, we didn't get to spend much time together. It was just crazy. There's just so many people and so many events and things. So, and then one more note, I just wanted to mention first of all, welcome to those of you that are from Ecom Chicago that didn't even know we existed. So we should have some new viewers tonight that we're super excited about meeting the Merch Money crew. So thanks for stopping in. And then, of course, there's a webinar this week at D4D if anybody needs help with deep niche dive. Really getting into a niche and immersing yourself and trying to figure out how the heck you're supposed to be designing for your niche. So you know how we roll on there. It's just, you follow along with us. It's live. We do exactly what we do for our own businesses. So we show you how to do it.
1440 Hustle said, "Hey, that's me." So maybe that's somebody you met. Thanks for joining.
Oh yeah, Erica was awesome. Hopefully we'll get to spend some more time together too. She and I were very like-minded.
Nice.
We both have road rage too. So yeah, busy stuff.
Awesome. All right, Amy. Other Amy.
Amy Nicholas, marketing mayhem girl, living up to her name.
Yes, you are.
But taking names AMS wise, rocking my new. Can you see it? Stranger Things. Yeah.
Awesome.
Man, I love this show. I was like, I need this shirt in my life.
Man, I like it.
I wish I could do like licensed stuff for them.
Yeah, I was gonna say nobody do that. No merch people out there.
Don't make this.
No puppies tonight, y'all.
But yeah, AMS is like it's rocking and rolling. Got close to 400 ads rolling out there, and
Go Amy.
Yeah, merch sales ticking up. Doing some deep dive stuff with my private Facebook group, the Print on Demand Power Punch Tribe. We went into some training stuff last week, and I'm gonna keep doing it because it's working for merch. So if you're like struggling with the sales and you have no idea what's going on, AMS is where it's at. And I think there's a link in the video somewhere if you want to check out my monthly paid group. But we get into the good stuff. And I guess the thing for the week, yeah, it's just taken off. I love seeing, it's like you have to take those steps in advance of things before they work. A lot of people are scared to take those steps. They have no faith in what they're doing, and they don't even take the steps, right? But I launched a whole bunch of ads without having any guarantee I was going to make any sales. But I was like, you know what? This is my faith, putting into it. I'm moving forward. I'm walking through the fire. And
Amy, totally. I've been obsessed with this, taking massive and imperfect action. Like, get off your butt and do it. It's all right if we mess up. I always say, press the buttons. Don't be afraid.
10x. Yeah, I love that book. If anybody needs a hustler book, Get Your Butt in Gear, The 10x Rule by Grant Cardone. Going to the 10X conference in February. Can't wait.
Awesome.
So excited. Yeah.
We're going to have to live vicariously through you. You got to keep us updated.
Man, we're going to have to meet up at some point, guys.
Is Ed Milet going to be there again? Because wasn't he at the last one?
I'm not sure. This is my first one.
I'm like obsessed with him lately. Like I feel like his YouTube channel is so good. But anyway, I just saw Mario join. So I just want to say hi to Mario. I accidentally, I forgot that I had met Mario at the Green Room event last year or the year a couple years ago. Time is going so fast. I don't even know. I guess it was 2 Christmases ago. So anyway, that was such a fun time. So it's fun to have this connection. Like we have the FBA people, we have merch people, and that's why we're so happy to have Cody on today because he's everything. Like it's like Kindle, FBA, eBay, building a brand, poker, like he's got everything. So all the whole ecom world they can relate to you in one way or another, right?
Yeah, been doing it for quite a while.
Yep. So real quick, I guess I didn't introduce myself or Cody really. So I'm Helen Kinson, merch boss, and I actually met Cody. Well, I didn't really meet in person, but he started coaching right around the time that I was starting FBA. So back, I think it was 2015. I had watched some of his videos and I was like, oh, he seems like he really knows what he's doing. I'm going to sign up for this coaching. And it really helped a lot. Like, I think it was about 8 weeks or something like that. And it was awesome. And then it's just been so fun to see everyone grow since then. Like Cody's just gone off the whole new heights. And then some of the other people he's coached have done so well. And then it's so fun.
Absolutely.
So yeah. So Cody, basically I put in our Facebook group, I put everything that I could think of that I knew you had done. So I was like niche websites, like it was like this whole paragraph of like everything you've done. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, my name's Cody Hawk. I'm a father of 4 and, kind of that first. But as far as business entrepreneurship, I've been making an income online for about 10 years now. My primary business is e-commerce. I've built a few successful brands and I've sold a couple of them and run a couple of them. Been doing FBA. That's kind of been one of my bread and butters for a long time. And then I dabbled in a lot of stuff. This year's been a big year for me because I'm actually selling my media company, which I built last couple of years, and focusing more on playing poker while I run my companies. They kind of give you the freedom to be able to do what you want. And I had my 34th birthday, about 2 months ago. That was my epiphany where I needed to kind of sell my company and do more lifestyle. The biggest thing is you talk about all the things I've done and do. And that was kind of my epiphany as I got to the point where I could make all the money I ever wanted, but I didn't have the lifestyle. So this year I'm focusing more on lifestyle, and less on, building more and more brands.
Awesome. Well, it's been so fun to watch, and it's been really exciting, all the stuff that you've been able to do. So I'm going to try. I don't even know how to stay on topic because it's so much that I want to ask and so much to talk about. I think we'll talk about poker at the end because Amy is not going to be able to stop talking about it. So we can't talk about that yet, even though that's all we really want to talk about. I think let's start with what prompted me to reach out to you, because I think of you as FBA mostly just because that's how I originally started working with you. But talk a little bit about your experience with merch and then what you're doing now, because you're building a brand with print on demand, right?
Primarily, yeah. So I got started with merch right around the time it actually originally came out, and it was a really cool program. I saw, I think Chris Greene. Are you guys familiar with Chris Greene?
Yes.
Yeah. So Chris Greene was like the first person I saw doing videos, and I was doing videos on it right after him. But I think Chris was the first out the gate. And I really got into print on demand. It was with the merch by Amazon. It was really cool. It was a great program. And then that kind of opened my eyes to print on demand because I was already selling t-shirts. I was doing the old school like heat press. We were having t-shirts screen printed and selling them that way. So we were already doing merch. We were just doing it a different method. When that came out, it kind of opened up a lot of doors. And then we got into merch by Amazon, and I did it for a little while. We still actually have a couple accounts on merch by Amazon now that funny enough, bring in royalties every single month. It's kind of, I always say it's like the easiest way I've ever made money online, just because there's so many options, so many designs. But we don't do merch by Amazon the same as we did a few years ago. Then we kind of started pivoting some more print on demand. And then it really made me realize that I could test hundreds of designs with print on demand. And then what we do is we're kind of 50-50. So part of it is print on demand because we can test all these really cool designs. And then the second half is once we have designs that do really well, then we scale up our marketing and I go out to manufacturers, have these t-shirts produced, and then I quadruple my margins. So I don't want to say eliminated all the risk, but I've eliminated most of the risk in doing it by doing it that method. And it allows us to do print on demand, which the margins aren't as great, but you don't really have the potential downside. And then when we have shirts that really start clicking and we're selling 10, 20, 30 a day of these, then I can have them produced. And then I can take my margins from maybe $5 or $7 to $10 or $15. So it's been a really cool process.
That's awesome. Well, there's so many things there. So let's start with we. So you're saying we. So what does that involve? Like who is we?
So I've downscaled a lot. Up until recently, I had 15 employees. Now I only have 4 because, like I said, I sold kind of my core. I'm kind of in the process now. It's not quite finalized, but so I've got a couple employees, and then me and my wife. Kind of started with me and my wife, and then we grew, and now we're kind of getting back to our core, so we have more time and not as tied down. But yeah, so I've only got a couple employees doing this, but for the longest time, it was just me and my wife kind of going through this process, and she still does some of our designs. And then I've got a couple people where I outsource a lot of designs too.
Awesome. And then when you're saying that you take it to get manufactured, where do you put those designs after that? Like, do you put it on a Shopify store or?
Yeah, so we have a couple Shopify stores. So one of mine, for example, is a company called Forward Revive that we've really been growing. And so we've got a couple Shopify stores we put it on. And then also recently we've been partnering with partnering with a couple companies. So we've been doing some pop-up shops. I've been selling some stuff in some boutique shops as well. So we've been dabbling with some retail, but of course the core is always e-commerce, and primarily it's just through Shopify websites.
That's really cool. Well, Cody, I don't want to hog it. Do you guys have questions?
I wanted to ask him real quick, just to repeat his brand, if he didn't mind. The one that you mentioned that you had the Shopify store for?
Forward Revive.
Okay.
The word cool. Forward and REVIVE, forwardrevive.com.
I think that's the video I shared in our group, because that's the one where you said wasn't your goal to be doing $1 million a year or something like that for that brand?
Yeah, we're shockingly on pace for that. I think this year this month we're looking at doing close to 60,000 this month. So we're moving along nicely. And a lot of it's through PPC. A lot of people ask me how you grow and how you scale. My biggest thing in the beginning is Instagram, and PPC has been amazing. I know you guys are big on Facebook. Do you guys do very much Instagram marketing as well?
Some of us do, and some of us don't.
Awesome.
Depending on our income streams.
It's on my radar. Like,
yeah,
I've been using
amazing.
it more, and I'm like, man, I really need to get in, especially now with like the business accounts that they're allowing you to have. So it's on my radar, but I haven't yet.
It's incredible. I'm not as well versed, Cody, I'm sure, as you in Instagram, but several of my brands just immediately started taking off once I started to get into Instagram. So it's crazy how much you can scale when you start really figuring it out over there.
Yeah, and it gives you a great option to do retargeting, of course, because PPC can be expensive, and retargeting through Instagram and even remarketing campaigns, whether you're doing video on Instagram or YouTube or remarketing through Instagram, allows you to really get the best ROI. Facebook's amazing because it's got the largest audience in the world by far. It's got a huge portion of the whole wide world, but Instagram has really grown a lot and is probably one of the fastest growing. So it's kind of a great balance to have both.
That's awesome. Well, I'm just so excited about just how quickly you've been able to grow that brand as well as other brands. So you sold what was it? Geek Buds? Is that what you sold? We
sold our core company. Yeah, it was called Funny Emoji, but it was owned by Geek Buds, and we used to do these emoji pillows, and we did really good. A lot of it was marketing. A lot of it was right place, right time. We really came out in the right time, and then we ended up selling to a subsidiary of Target, which helped out a lot. There was 4 companies they acquired, and then they started selling them themselves. So I didn't really want to compete with the Walmarts and Targets of the world. So it was a kind of a right place, right time, right company, right size. And we primarily sold our marketing plan because a lot of these big companies are following suit, like people like you guys, people like me. It's you see the Walmarts and the Targets of the world, but they're really desperately trying to get in the e-commerce space. So doing what you guys are doing, that's more the future, and they're playing catch up. They're actually trying to follow people like yourself.
Aw, thanks. It's so fun. I feel like it's so cool to be in this whole thing because you see stuff right when it's coming out. Like, just like you said with Chris Greene, like I was right there too, learning from Chris Greene, learning from your videos. Like I was there the first week it came out. I mean, give or take. So it's so fun to be in this whole community where you're learning things right away. Like the second Pop Sockets come out, I have Pop Sockets up. Like it's just, it's so fun to be in this whole mix and learning from people like you and from all, I've learned from so many people in this community.
Such an amazing community. And that's the cool thing is all the information that's available and all the amazing people. I mean, from the time we worked together to where you are and the things you're doing is just amazing. I couldn't believe it when you sent the thing and like, oh, I'd like to have you on the show. And I was like, you got a show. Awesome. I'd love to. Like,
I was
so cool.
I'm like, I wish I could. You probably don't even remember me at all because it's like.
No, I do. I absolutely do.
Really?
I have really good memory.
Okay, so this is, I wasn't even going to go there because I was like, he probably doesn't remember me at all. But I remember like just how different, like how I thought and just different things. So it must have been frustrating to be trying to coach me because it's like, I don't have the right mindset yet. I don't have the right, like all these different things. So it's fun to see people like eventually things start to click and you start to grow.
Well, I thought you did have the right mindset. I mean, coming in as an entrepreneur, you're going to have that mindset. You had some frustrations and things, but you were able to break through them. And you're in that percentage of people who's able to break through because, entrepreneurship's tough. And you can see people who are successful and be like, oh, that's so cool. And I want to do that. And then you go your first 3 months and you get frustrated. And most people give up in the first 3 to 6 months. People who don't, the opportunities are amazing out there, especially now because a lot of people say, well, you're so obsessed with e-commerce. But the thing is, it's not another fad. It's not another cool business to get into. It's the shift from how things are consumed. There was a time where we were in the trading economy, then the big box store economy, and now it's switching over to e-commerce. It's not like the coolest product. It's the way things are done. And we're at a small percentage now, but imagine e-commerce when it's at 50, 60% of all products. I mean, the brands who are coming out like you guys now, that's going to be the future that people are talking about.
Cody, that reminds me too of an article. Gosh, I can't even remember where I read it. It was probably on Instagram, honestly. And it just said that like, this is the time for the birth of the micro brand. Like there's no better time for somebody to develop a brand and be able to compete with big names because a lot of us and a lot of you guys watching are going to be ahead of, like you said, the Targets and the Walmarts and places that are just really getting into the game with social media and really getting their, fingernails and claws into e-com. So.
You really see it with YouTube because it's hilarious seeing like these big brands with like a few thousand followers. And then it's like people like Steve Rakin and you like 100,000 followers. It's like crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I've talked to a lot of big brands and we've coached a lot of big brands over the years. And you see these companies that'll do 800 million. Like I'm not even in their league in retail. but then their e-commerce is literally a few thousand. Like Walmart committed like up to 25% of their profits by 2020, all for their e-com side. They bought jet.com for like $2 billion, which was overpriced, but they're really dumping money in because they know that if they don't do something now, they're going to go from the biggest to like 100th place over the next couple of decades, the way e-commerce is going.
Yeah. I love how excited you get like, oh my gosh, we all love this so much.
Yeah,
like,
that's amazing.
It's not like a job. It's like so exciting.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see the growth. And I have to call out Nelson Hitchcock in the comments. He's he's our commentator for Joe. Joe and I are having this like race to see who can get to 6,000 live shirts first. And he is hilarious with like his comments every day on our posts.
Yeah, Nelson's right. I mean, he says e-commerce is only 10%. The potential growth is huge. He's right. That other 85, 90%, I don't know that we're going to get to full, e-com, because there's always going to be some kind of retail. But like I said, imagine when we get to that 50, 60%, you look at the way retail is going. Sadly, I mean, we just heard that Sears bankrupt, all these companies bankrupt. Macy's on the rocks. They're all on the rocks. Malls are going to go out of, I guarantee you malls are going to go out of business the way that we currently know them. And it's just going to be a domino effect. And I've had so many, speaking of clients, like you see these stores like, sporting goods stores, things like that go out of business. And then you start seeing all these niche sporting goods stores and like hockey or a specific niche. I'm really big into archery and I've got a couple clients doing archery shops. It's like, oh, I'm a customer and loving to see this. Like, 'cause you see all these options now where it's not just 2 or 3 big monopolies. Now those guys are all falling down.
Yeah, it's crazy and then you wonder about like commercial real estate, like all those malls.
That's a
like, what are
huge
they going to do with all that?
They're going to all bankrupt. You can't pay for the overinflation of that price. And it's not even just the cost of real estate. It's also the overinflated cost of insurance and the cost of doing business, all these permits and fees the city has that people like you and us, we don't have. I mean, I've got one office building. It's, like 1,800 square feet. And that's even a push. You don't even need that. You can work right out of your house. Or like I'm sure some of you guys work out of your house if you have an office. And it's that micro amount you need to do much bigger volume nowadays. And that's why Amazon's blown up, because they don't need a million big fancy offices. They just got warehouses in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, yeah. Nelson said Lauren Taylor's closing in New York City after 125 years. They're like trying to get so creative. Like I think Macy's or somebody was like trying to figure out like if they could make a park on the top of their building to try to get people. I mean, they have to like do crazy stuff to try to get people to come in at all.
Yeah, well, and a lot of the big people like Gary Vee and Grant Cardone have been talking about that for a long time. Like it has to be experiential. You look at a Cabela's, right? A Cabela's kind of has an experience. Like all the retail that's going to be around after 2025 will have some kind of experience. Otherwise, nobody wants to be ushered through a Walmart or a Costco in the same way we have a big warehouse. People won't do that. You'd rather just sit at home in your pajamas and buy everything you always wanted. And now with Amazon 2 days, I'm originally from Seattle. There's a lot of stuff you can get in the same day now, and that's going to be spread out pretty soon where you can get everything pretty much the same day.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so you got this brand going. I saw the you're doing Place It, right, to do the videos?
Yeah, so we've played around with that. So I used to hire a lot of models, and I got to the point where with Instagram, whenever something really starts to grow, it gets down to diminishing returns. And so I was like, you know what? It's not what it used to be. We need volume. And so that's a great service to be able to put out volume, whether you're doing ads or you're just doing your daily posts. It's a great option. And we experimented and we did a whole little ad with their videos and it worked out pretty good. Our sales were huge from that.
It was
shocking.
I was wondering, what are your thought process about oh my gosh, I just forgot the word, where you have like a person as a model. What is that? Lifestyle ads, or just like a lot of people are saying, I don't know about for Instagram, but for Pinterest, they're saying to just put like the shirt on like a background with like other clothes around it. Like, which one do you think is better for a mock-up?
Well, for a mock-up for like Pinterest, that I would agree with that. That'd be the best option. But for something like social media, having the lifestyle has always kind of attracted people, whether it's male models, female models, being able to bring them in and being able to see it on an actual person is really good. And not even on a person, but in a setting. So a lot of brands have like kind of a theme or something like that to them. So whatever your theme is, if your theme's athletic, something like a Place It, or if you actually hire a model, you can have them in an athletic, say, baseball field or a basketball court or whatever it may be, and they can kind of visualize it in the actual setting. And it's surprising how well that actually works.
Do you normally do only video, or you do just a picture, or both?
So I do probably about 10 to 15% pictures. Mostly now we're doing video ads. In fact, I've spent a lot more time doing video ads than videos for myself anymore, editing those, because they're so amazing. I mean, I haven't had a video ad bomb yet this year. And, we just kind of scale it up. I always start small. I start $5 a day, $10, and then work your way up 500,000 as you start to grow your ad sets. And it's crazy how powerful video ads are. And I think the biggest thing is, video is huge. YouTube blew up, Instagram stories, all that stuff, but it's still a small percentage willing to actually go out and put in the work or go on video like yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. And I just saw an article like a couple days ago, maybe, about Facebook 3D pictures. Have you tried that yet? Or have you heard about that?
I've heard about it. I haven't tried it yet, though.
Because that's kind of interesting. It's like kind of an in-between between the video and the just a picture, because it draws you in, because it almost looks like it's moving a little bit as you're scrolling, because it's 3D. I don't know. That's what they say anyway.
It's interesting. Well, with the adoption of AI, they're going to go more and more that way, because, again, everything has to be experiential. We live in a world. I mean, print on demand is a great example. You can, every single shirt you wear the rest of your life could have your name on it if you wanted, or it could have your logo, or it could have whatever you want. Right? It's so easy, and all of you could do that. I mean, wearing your, like the Maverick, all these different things, like being able to put anything you want on there, because it's, when I grew up, I don't know, I was born in '84, so coming up like in the '90s and stuff. When you do that, it was kind of what was available at the local store was my school clothes or what I got. Now you can have anything you want. I mean, I buy stuff all the time with this kind of sounds kind of vain, but like with your name on it, or like different thing, your logo, mostly my logo, but you get these different things. It's crazy what's available. And that's why it grows so much. And so the experiential thing is huge.
Yeah. I think it's really good to hop on stuff like that quick. Yeah. I still have an old phone. My poor iPhone is an iPhone 6, and I don't have the right kind of camera. They said that like the minimum is, I forget, iPhone 7 or iPhone 8 or something. So I need to hurry up and upgrade my phone. But yeah, 3D pictures, guys. Let me know how that goes.
Well, the cameras now are amazing. I mean, you can do ads in the park by yourself. I mean, I got the new iPhone 10s or XS or whatever they call it. But I mean, the cameras on that, you should upgrade to the new one that just came out. The portrait mode on that, it's like professional pictures.
I've seen them, and I'm like, what is this?
I couldn't believe the selfies I could take. I'm like, what is this? Like, I used to pay good money to have pictures edited a couple years ago like that. And you can just take them with portrait mode nowadays. And then you can edit the picture after it's done. And it's like amazing. I can't even believe it.
Yeah.
The technology.
And just the tools that have come out. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, I've only been an entrepreneur and I use that term loosely, whatever, self-employed something for the last 4 years. And the amount that has changed in those 4 years is insane. I mean, the world is just changing so fast. So it's pretty exciting. But yeah, I definitely need to upgrade that phone for sure. So I know Amy's like just being silent over there. She's just like, I am just waiting for poker.
I'm a huge nut. Like I've been a fan. I like sports. I like esports. I like poker sport. And I do believe poker is a sport, y'all. Takes strategy and luck and it's and stamina. So I do
a lot of long sessions.
It actually does take a lot of stamina.
But I'm a huge poker fan. So like we talked briefly before the show, and I just had to like come out and ask you, like, who have you met? What do you think of so-and-so? Because I've been following, the WPT and the WSOP for years. And what have you always been? Okay, or can we talk poker?
Yeah, go ahead. You can. We've made it halfway through the show without talking about it, so I feel like that's got to count.
So how long have you been playing? Just in general, not so much even like going into WPT or WSOP or any of the big name tournaments, just in general, like.
So in general, I started playing a little bit when I was a kid. Don't really count that much. Got really, really serious about 9 years ago is when I got really serious. Then I played online constantly for a few years. And then, of course, Black Friday happened. Not the amazing holiday we all love, but the Black Friday of poker when they kind of shut that down in America.
Yeah, that's a sad day. It's like Come on, bring it back.
Yeah, well, back then it was kind of a small percentage of my income, actually. And then when I did that, I just simply didn't have time to play live that often. So my hours I was putting in just drastically plummeted for a few years because I had to pick between building my companies and playing poker. And obvious choice, I had to pick my companies. So I started doing that. And then over the last couple of years, I really got more serious. I decided to buy a vacation place. I bought a condo in Las Vegas a couple years ago, and then I started playing a lot more. You can still do online over there. So when I was in town, I was playing online, and then all the casinos. And then I thought, this last year, I'm really going to start taking it to the next level.
That's amazing. Like, I mean, that's where I started, was online. And of course, I wish that I could still play today because I'm like such a better player now than I was then. But
yeah.
Who knows?
I didn't even know that Cody played poker at all. So I contacted him when I found out about his brand and POD and all of that. And then like a couple weeks later, he posted about becoming a professional poker player. And I was like, what? Like, we all love poker. I'm like, that's it. Total change of plans for the show. We're talking about poker.
How did that happen? Like, you woke up one day and you're like, you know what? I am going to become a professional poker player, because you can't just do that. Like, there's steps involved. So
everybody thought it was clickbait. They're like, what is this?
Well, yeah, I've been on YouTube a long time, and so there is a fair amount of clickbait. I get called a clickbaiter a lot, and there's definitely clickbait, but that one was zero clickbait. That one, I did decide. I didn't really talk about it at the time, but I did wake up one morning. I woke up on my 34th birthday, like I said a couple months ago, and I said, I'm taking this to a whole nother level. And that's when I decided, you know what, I've got my businesses to a point where I could make a really solid income almost without me, which is pretty nice. It's almost to the point where it doesn't need me, which is both scary and nice at the same time. My family's taken care of. I've done really well. I put a lot of money away. So I thought, you know what, I can do this. And I set aside a bankroll for poker for over years, kind of built it up. And I thought, I could just do this. The whole reason to build these, on that video, I talk about my whole thing was design a business, fit your lifestyle. And I failed my own motto, literally. Like, I was working up till recently, like 100 hours a week. And I love it every minute, work for myself, doing my thing. But it's having multiple companies, you're responsible for a lot of stuff. And I'll tell you what, a lot of people think it's great making all the money and stuff. And it is for a while. But at a certain point, it's just not worth it. I'd rather be, living that more lifestyle. And I thought, well, what lifestyle could I add that I really want? And I was like, I want to be a professional poker player. I want to take this seriously. And I'm blessed to be in a place where I can actually do that, and I don't have to worry because the money's not the object that it used to be.
That's so exciting. I love that. It's just, I think people just feel like they can't do stuff like that. Like, it's just like, a lot of people feel like they can't take the plunge to become an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And then the entrepreneurs take that plunge, but then they get stuck there and they don't feel like they can just become a poker player randomly. Like, people don't feel like they can do that. And it's like, why not?
Well, that's the whole point of doing all this. And at a certain point, I kind of got lost in my own thing, because my whole thing was, when I quit my job, I quit a job making about 110 grand a year. I've talked about that a lot in my story. So not super successful, but not under successful. At about 110 grand a year, you're kind of stuck, right? Because that's a hard income to replace on the side. But I had to take a leap to do that. And then I finally got to a place where, after like when I met you, I was probably working the least I ever was working at that time. I was like, I had so much time, free time. And then I got to the point where I was like, well, I could build this company. It's only gonna take me 15, 20 hours a week doing this and then this. And before I knew it, I had like 9 or 10 projects going, and I completely ruined my lifestyle, quote unquote. And having little kids, I can't do all the traveling in foreign countries like a lot of my peers, because a lot of my good friends in entrepreneurship, they don't have kids, or maybe they got old. And so I was like, well, let's take on some extra projects. And then I kind of bogged myself down. And so now I'm undoing all that. I'm selling a couple companies, and now I'm back to having a ton of free time, working, a little bit on my companies, and then playing poker.
There you go.
You know what, Cody, you're like the perfect example, though, of what it takes to be an entrepreneur, because sometimes you do have to put in that time. You got to put in those crazy hours. And you're young still. Think about how many people like are 20, 30, 40 years past that can still follow their dreams. I was talking when I was speaking this weekend, I'm obsessed with that quote about butterflies and Benjamins. Figure out a way to set up your lifestyle so that you can live comfortably like you're doing. And for everybody, comfort is different. Doesn't have to have a financial number attached to it. Nope. And then find a way to do what you love and get up every day and love it. And that's amazing that at 34 years old, you worked your ass off to set that stuff up, and now you're doing it.
Yeah,
So that's cool.
that's a big thing. And I love what you said, any age, because I get a lot of people come to me every day on like YouTube or comments, DMs, and they're like, well, I'd love to do what you're doing, but I'm 61. Perfect age. I tell everyone, I don't care if you're 21, 61, 41, every age is the perfect. You're still alive, perfect age.
Yeah.
Perfect age to do
Heck
it.
yeah, when you're 61, you got more experiences and strength to leverage anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. You know? There's always benefits. When you're young, you don't have not much to lose. When you're older, you got so much extra, you know, so it's always the perfect age.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I like that. It's always the perfect age. I agree.
It is.
I'm gonna like write that down, because I have people in my life that are like, oh, you know, it's too late for me. It's like, no,
well,
it's
yeah,
not.
like what are you gonna do when it drives me nuts when people say that it's too late for me? Like, what do you mean? What are you gonna sit on the couch and just like count down the time? Like, do something that makes you fired up and excited and like get on it. Like, do something fun, you know?
I'll tell you, like when I started and the first time I sold a shirt, because I've always been somewhat creative, and to think that I can actually make money being creative was very inspiring for me. And the first time I sold a shirt, I was like, wow, this is the real deal. Because if I can sell one, I can sell 10. If I can sell 10, I can sell 100, and so on. So I never really woke up feeling that sense of purpose, I guess it would be a good word for it. And I wake up every day now, and it's just like, I can't wait to get started. I can't wait to log in on merch. I can't wait to see, you know, what's happening in the community. And I just want to go all in. It's never too late. I know it wasn't for me, because I mean, I'm no, you know.
What do you guys think are like the top few things that prevent so many people from like just doing it? You know, is it just plain fear? Is it like
fear and not knowing?
Comfortable with being comfortable where they are, you know? Like,
I think they're worried about what people say.
Oh yeah.
That's a big one.
It's like, it's hard when because especially in the beginning, like for me, I was doing FBA. So it's like buying stuff at a store and shipping it to Amazon. Like, it's hard to explain what you're doing. And it's like, and it's hard to take that step back. Like, a lot of people don't like to take a step back. Like Cody was saying, he was making 100,000. Like, I was making 6 figures too. It was like, and so it's hard. I was definitely not once I started FBA. So it's like, you're taking a huge pay cut. You're doing something where people are like, why, what are you doing? Like they're used to like going out for drinks and doing all this like fancy stuff. And I'm like in Walmart, like scanning stuff. So it's like, you just have to be like willing to take that step back so that you can go forward and be okay with just learning and being wherever you know, being comfortable, being different.
My first year, I was between 1,000 to 2,000 short on my bills every single month. So I had to pull that out of savings every month while I was getting FBA going. And then even then I sold, you know, I downgraded my car and things like that. I used to have like the nice stuff in life. And now looking back, it's funny looking at what I have now compared to then, what I thought was so great back then. But yeah, you have to be willing to do that. And people think that's crazy. And people are afraid of loss. They're afraid of, I've worked so hard to get what I have, but what do you really have? Like, the only thing you actually have is your time. That's the only real asset. And you're willing to give that up for some trinkets. And also I had to think, what did I own 10 years ago? I look at everything that I treasured 10 years ago. Most of it I don't have. And in 10 years from now, look at my cars or my houses. Most of the stuff I won't have in 10 years. Yeah. And so you look at that, you treasure it now, but you should treasure your time more, because that's all you're going to have in the end.
Plus, it's one thing if you're the one treasuring it, but it's another thing if you're just trying to like hold face, like try to like act
other
like
people.
Yeah, to other people. Like, you want to be an entrepreneur, but you're worried that other people are going to judge you because you're in Walmart or because you're selling t-shirts online. Like, people just kind of smile and nod anytime I say anything. Yeah. It was funny. We were talking about how, like, once I started doing this show, all of a sudden everybody thought it was cool. But before that, so before April of this year, everybody always looked at me like, oh, so are you going to go back to being a loan officer soon? Like, kind of like the concerns, like, are you sure you want to throw your life away? Like,
I try to like talk to people on a, you know, daily basis, like in real life, right? The people that I just interact with, you know, Uber drivers, going to drop my car off at the dealership, place like that. And I get the sense that a lot of people that are older in life, they don't believe in themselves and they don't believe that they can learn how to do something new, especially like just the whole internet itself. Like, they might understand, okay, I can go online and I can pay a bill or I can look up something, but how would I possibly make money from it? They really have no belief and faith that they can do it. And I try to explain that there's people that have done it ahead of you that have ways and means of showing you. It's not like it's this completely foreign thing, but they have very limiting beliefs. They don't want to believe they can do it.
Well,
And I think so go on, Bree.
I was just going to say, I think we're all sort of like lulled into this false sense of security with a traditional job, when in reality, all it takes is a car accident, a health issue. I mean, I was a tenured teacher for 8 years, great health insurance, but that doesn't even mean I have job security. What if there are budget cuts? You know, what if they have to lay people off in a corporation? There are always those what ifs, and nothing in life is really 100% set in stone, you know? So
no, it's not at all. And I talk a lot about how I dropped out of high school, and a lot of people think I brag about that. That's obviously not something to brag about, but I think for me, I never had any security. I didn't really grow. I've been on my own since I was 17. So I never had the family security or the college or job security. So for me, it was like, you have no choice. And then when I started having a couple kids, I'm like, you really have no choice. And so for me, it was that you got to get to that point where you feel like, because people get comfortable in that middle class thing. And that's why I think, I mean, I've looked at, you analyze a lot of like the super successful people, whether it's rap or actors, like they went from the very, very bottom to the very top. A lot of them, some of them, but a lot of them weren't like in the middle, because you get so comfortable in the middle. And you got to be willing to take that step back and then really kind of go for it, because it's so available to everyone. It's just so available to not do that.
I think it's the rarest of all the like super successful people. Being middle class is the absolute rarest.
Yeah.
Like usually you're either completely broke or from a rich family, like one or the other. And usually the completely broke, because for some reason it's like you have the most motivation, you have the most so it's the problem with middle class is it's like you get very it's hard to break free of that job that pays your bills. It's like it's hard to convince yourself that you need more or that you should want more. Like you're kind of just taught like, well, this is how life is. Like
it's like the societal norm of
it's almost like you feel like you can't expect more or you can't want more. Like that's almost greedy.
Like you've made it. Like as far as like you as a person and amongst your peers, you've made it.
Yeah.
You have the picket fence, you got the nice house, you got the dog in the back, you know, everything's looking good. And that's it. That's the dream.
People, they don't have that inner sense of peace for sure.
Because
peace,
you're not using your talents, you're not using your brain, you're just stuck in a rut of
you're comfortable being comfortable.
You're not doing what you're meant to do. Everybody's meant to do something and has a purpose.
Every November you're watching the 9 playing WSOP while you're going, man, I wish it was me up there at the table.
Sorry. She's talking about poker right now.
Quit wishing, start doing.
Yep.
She's
Poker
like,
mom. Start a YouTube channel.
Sorry. I'm still fangirling. Just
Amy, get on there. I want to see, Poker Mom YouTube channel.
Well, actually, then
you never know.
Do you have some an actual brand that's going to be tied to you playing poker, or do you just have a company?
I will buy your merch. I will buy.
We gotta post links to your poker merch.
We're actually getting that started right now, and I'm actually getting ready to start. I'm starting a poker vlog. So I'm kind of doing something different, because I've been doing my entrepreneur videos since like 2014 now, but I'm starting a poker vlog. So I've been documenting a ton of like my travel and my playing, and we're putting some of that together just for fun. So
keep us in the loop. We want to know. We want to be able to follow it. So keep us in the loop.
I will.
Because I'll be fangirling over you like I do Daniel Negreanu, and I'm not even going to feel bad about it.
We gotta all go watch you play or be in it. Amy, you don't have to have it be in your box forever. Maybe this could be your year to go play poker.
You can go play too. You come play.
Before the show, we were talking a little bit about poker, and I mentioned a few years back I made a little, like, people have vision boards. I made like a vision box where you like put your little dreams in and you decorate it really nice, and my box is like full of pictures from the WSOP and bracelets and cards and stacks of cash like they have on the final table before the 9 come in. So
I love it.
Yeah.
We have
Well,
to get
you know
you
what?
there.
I keep trying to force you guys to go to Vegas because ever since Helen and I always talk about, how we missed each other that first time that her and I went to Vegas. So we could get a little practice time in, hit the ASD trade show, and work our way towards it.
Heck yeah, like I'm down. I will play poker.
Are you going to be there, Cody, for ASD?
Yeah, I'll be. I wasn't at the last one. I usually go at least once a year though.
Okay, so March, I guess, right?
I like March because it's just not as hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
maybe
my
we
favorite
can all
one.
try to go in March. That would be so fun.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Yep. I'll be there in March.
Now, real quick, back to poker, just real quick. You're going to be playing in the WSOP in next year?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
Where is that? I don't know.
It's in Vegas.
It's in Vegas. Okay. What do you know? What month or when?
So June, July, and it's like so they have a ton of events. It's pretty much all month long. In fact, most of the pros, they'll bring their RVs out there. They're out front. Like this last year was at the Rio. It's usually at the Rio. And so it's a great event. It's amazing. And they have tons of events. All the big pros from all around the world are there. People from all around the world. Thousands of people come in. It's an amazing time.
And it's different. It's different poker too. Like you have Omaha and you have high-low. And I mean, it's everything. Yeah. And then, of course, Holdem because everybody.
I pretty much play Holdem, but yeah,
I like Holdem in Omaha. Love it.
Omaha's fun.
Exploding right now. Yeah.
Omaha, you could almost play like 2-player, like on teams. But that's something I've made up in my head, and we won't go into it.
We've been trying to figure out how to do like a poker game on our show somehow. Because everybody wants to see us play.
We all like get into like there's private servers like on Poker Stars and stuff, and I mean it's free money, like it's a free game. We can all start with like 1,000 chips and just play.
All right, Amy, you got to set that up. We got to do that.
We could totally do that. We could do a merch money.
I'm gonna take all y'all's chips, but
just for bragging rights.
She's already doing the like. Oh my gosh.
I went from
Emily
the donkey
Robbins
to
is
the
asking-
shark, y'all. Just saying.
Hard shark. You got a question in the chat from Emily. She's asking Cody, do you happen to know David Anderson, my friend who is a professional poker player? Just curious about the small world.
Not offhand. I mean, I know a couple of David Anderson. That's such a popular name, but probably not.
Cool.
There's so many.
But there's a lot of them. Yeah, there's so many. It's such an amazing community. It's the only community I've found that I can relate like with the business/e-commerce community where it's so many nice people, so many amazing people. And even though you're winning and losing money from people all the time, similar in e-commerce, like everyone's competition, but not really. We're all kind of doing our own thing. And just so many friendly people in that community.
And they want to see you succeed too.
Yeah,
like,
they really do. They really do. I mean, everyone but Phil Ivey. He wants to win every penny you ever had. But other than that,
or Helmuth the same way, man. That guy, he's out for blood. I love
it. A fit. Yeah, if he doesn't win, he's throwing a fit. But other than that,
what the F, man? This new kid, he's never even played a card in his life. He just took my chips.
Yeah, he'll throw a
throws
huge
his share down as he rolls up in his Bentley. Yeah. It's sorry, guys. I
love it. Amy is so great. I had no idea until the show that was on Amy's bucket list. I had no clue. I knew that all of us like playing poker.
Keep it hidden because it's like, oh, I have a box with like pictures on it.
We've been doing poker flag fly, Amy. Come on.
Yeah. Someday I will be playing in the WSOP. That is like #1 bucket list. I've already done the skydiving thing. I've got that out of the system. But yeah, WSOP. I might be 80, but I'm gonna be at that table. And I'm gonna break that bubble too.
That'll be great. There you go.
Yeah.
So Cody, I had another quick question. Obviously you're a busy guy with all your companies and you've got kiddos and you're playing poker and stuff. Is there anything else that you have like as far as any interesting like interests or hobbies or Well,
the one thing I do for me is archery. I love archery. A lot of people say, well, you kill animals. I actually haven't hunted in a long, long time. Not that I have anything wrong with that. I just love shooting. And for me, it's like a relaxing thing. And I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, having something where there's no money tied to it is like poker's relaxing for me. But you're also, at any given time, I have thousands of dollars on the table. So you got to be sharp. And with archery, you can go out there and just have fun. And I think for all entrepreneurs, obviously it doesn't have to be archery, but it can be anything. Having that thing has always had my separation because it's so easy. I mean, everyone romanticizes entrepreneurship, but it's so easy to burn yourself out, especially when you're putting in the hours, the late nights. it's not that like, it's fun, but it's hard to make it look like what it is, because what it is just a lot of hard work, a lot of consistency. I mean, you guys know building your brands, doing what you're doing. And so having that thing, do you guys all have like your thing that's not money related?
I do. I'm just obsessed with right now with weightlifting, and I grew up as a figure skater. So I'm like, just the
awesome.
fitness thing for me is just driving me.
Yeah.
And you also like all the like four-wheeling and stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
like,
I'm really into like extreme motorsports, so four-wheelers and dirt bikes and motocross. So.
I love horseback riding. I'm gonna get horse soon.
Oh, that's really cool.
It's on the list.
Really cool.
That's cool.
I got my
helmet
helmet from
That's
like
awesome.
10 years ago still.
That's awesome.
Lessons
Cool.
like a long time ago.
And Cody, don't you like skateboarding too? Wasn't that a thing?
Yeah, so I do a ton of I mean, I do a lot of stuff, but I find things that I can do consistently. But yeah, I skateboard all the time. I got dirt bikes. I ride them. I always try to mix it up when I can to just kind of keep yourself
Adventure.
not from.
Do you
burning out.
snowboard? I snowboard too.
Yeah, I grew up
Amy,
in
I
the
do
Pacific
too.
Northwest, so
We need to
Snowboard
go
all the time.
snowboarding together. I
Yeah.
have a hard time finding people.
Yeah, we should. I started like skiing when I was a really young age, and then of course I figure skated, and I switched right over to snowboarding in like, I don't know, 20 years ago.
Yeah, I don't
I
go
love
enough to like I literally have to take a lesson every time I go because it's so like spread out. But
Yeah.
my husband just got aboard the last time we went to Utah, and we want to go again, probably out west, but I'm not opposed to going up to New York too if you guys have some nice slopes.
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of nice areas. Hey, we could always do a merch meetup somewhere mountainous and do a little snowboarding excursion, you know?
Snowboard lodge meetup.
Yeah.
We need some more meetups. Those
I'm
are
gonna have
so
us
fun.
traveling everywhere. They keep making up places we need to go.
You guys gotta come down to Florida too. The weather's just perfect right now. So
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Florida will be on my list soon because I want to see my grandmother and my aunt. I've got family in Florida, and so
Yay.
that's going to be our next big family adventure. Head out that way.
Nice.
Let us know when you're going, Amy, because maybe we can like plan a meetup at the same time, and we can all go.
That'll be cool.
We might be doing something South Florida merch meetup in February because Matt Cartlett's coming down, and
it
he'll
ain't
be
gonna
like
be
near
that
Tampa. Okay.
Awesome. Oh, because right around the Grant Cardone thing, right? Sorry,
Yeah.
guys. Can you hear my niece in the background? She's over and she's 2, and she's giving my husband a hard time right now.
It's really
fine.
faint.
Like I'm always telling y'all, sorry, that's my toddler. Like I get it. You're great.
I'm like trying to mute my microphone and talk at the same time. It's not working out. But yeah, I would love to go to Florida and do a meetup. And in terms of my hobbies, I don't really have. I mean, I used to love swimming. I swam my whole life. I was on the crew team in college. I like poker, but I like just hanging out with friends, go to wineries. Just stuff like that. Nothing, no crazy sports or anything.
But you run, don't you, Helen?
Oh yeah, I like
Huh?
that. I'm trying to become where that's like a hobby for me. Like I'm still resisting. Like I did a half marathon, so I was running all the time to prepare for that. And then after that, I joined a running group, and I'm like, I keep trying to find ways to get myself excited about it and keep up with running, but it's hard. It's not quite like a natural, like I love it thing. It's like I want to run because so once I'm in good shape, like it is fun to run if you're actually like good at it, but it's hard to stay in good enough shape where it's fun. Most of the time it's just painful.
I hate it. Ugh,
I hate running too.
Yeah, it's like
There can't drag me down to run.
there was a brief amount of time this year where it was actually fun. Like I actually enjoyed it, but most of the time
you work towards a race too. Like that, I know that helps me if I would need to push myself out of a comfort zone. Like I will force myself to get to this, certain benchmark. Like
Yeah.
it'll drive.
And I'm glad that I did it long enough where I could feel what that felt like, because it is a good feeling to be able to just run. Like you just kind of feel free. Like you just feel like you're in such good shape you can just keep running and running. Like you don't get tired, and it's like it is a cool feeling. Like I think everyone should try to get there at least once, but it's hard to keep that up like month after month, year after year, like unless you really love it. Like so we'll see. I'm in between. Like I gotta figure, if I don't keep up with running, then I gotta figure out something else. So we'll see how it goes. But my cousin loves running too, and that was a big help. Like we ended up doing that half marathon together, and that was a lot of fun. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, this hour flew by. Does anybody else have any other questions for Cody? Did we miss anything in the chat?
I don't see anything. Last call for questions.
And then, Cody, is there anything else that you are working on, or, any like final words that you want to get out there? Anything you want to say, share?
Where can we find you?
Yeah.
I'm trying to work on less. So not as much new stuff. Oh, my website's codyhawk.com. So CODYHAWK.com. But yeah, no, other than that, I mean, just you guys, it's really cool to see what you guys are doing, how positive. I used to be part of a group like this, the Greene Room. I think they're still around, right? Have you guys heard of them?
Yep.
Yeah.
Are they still doing their thing? Awesome.
Oh, speaking of which, Joe in the comments said to say hi, and we were in the middle of talking and I forgot to say. So Joe is in the Greene Room. He says hi. I don't know if you remember from Merch University. He was in the Greene Room, and then
Joe Clay.
Yeah, Joe Clay.
Oh, I met him before down in Austin. Yeah, nice guy, good guy. But yeah, no, the Greene Room's awesome. I felt bad. I was like, I hope there's still a thing when I'm talking about it. I haven't talked to those guys in a while, but I think the world of those guys. And so yeah, I mean, it's really cool seeing what you guys are doing, inspiring so many people in the world of merch and building these brands and showing people that they can do that. Because I mean, it's possible for everyone. There's so much opportunity out there. A lot of people are like, well, must be saturated. It's barely even peaked the iceberg. I know somebody, Nelson or whatever, was talking about that, but it's barely even peaked the iceberg. I mean, it's just barely sticking out. Not only is it not saturated, the opportunities are endless. So it's really cool to see. And it's really cool to see these groups like the Greene Room and like you guys still going strong.
Oh, thank you. It's so fun to have you on the show. It's like, it's exciting because it's like, I when I first started watching your videos, I never thought I would actually meet YouTubers. Like that was so foreign idea to me. And then when you offer the coaching, I'm like, oh wow, I'm talking to a YouTuber. And then shortly after that, I went to ASD and met people in person. I met Steve Reagan and met a lot of people. And I was like, oh my gosh, these are all like real people. And now I'm like friends with them.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's really cool. Well, hopefully we'll be able to meet next year at the ASD.
Yeah, that would be great.
Hopefully I'll be meeting you at the WSOP tables.
That'll be
Hopefully
good.
you guys will play against each other at the WSOP.
Take all your chips.
There you go. There you go.
Nice.
Absolutely.
I'll let you break the bubble first.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. That'd be nice.
All right. Well, definitely let us know when you have your vlog up for the poker thing, because all of us definitely want to follow that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We want your merch, poker merch stuff.
Yep, absolutely. I'll let you guys know.
Any links or anything, Cody, you can forward them to us, and we'll, get those out too.
I put your main YouTube channel, or the one that I know, I put that in the comments.
Cool.
So you guys, or the description, so you guys should definitely follow Cody for sure. Anything that you're interested in, he has videos about. So merch, of course, all of you are interested in that, but he also has Kindle, FBA, eBay, niche websites, YouTube. I mean, he built up a whole YouTube channel. So if you have a lot of tips on that too. I don't know if you really have videos about it, but you've done well on YouTube.
A little bit, a couple of videos on it. Yeah, just kind of, I always wanted to do a channel just kind of about my journey. That was a big thing. So it's kind of all over the place. I got like 600 videos over the last few years, but it's just kind of about my journey. That's what I recommend. That's why I love seeing this kind of stuff. Just a lot of people are like, oh, I want to get started. Just start documenting what you're doing. That's what I used to do in the old days. And you might surprise yourself. You'll meet thousands of other people who have the same interest. And it's pretty fun.
Yep. And it's fun even in this short amount of time. I mean, 2014 to 2018, the rest of the world doesn't think that's long, but for you, it's like it must be so exciting to see where everyone's gone, of people that you've coached or people that have watched your videos and where they are now. Like, I know there's quite a few big people that watch your stuff, and you're a big part of their success. So
yeah, it's crazy seeing some of the other YouTubers that I've worked with, and now some of them are doing so good. It's amazing. And then even friends I have, like the guys from the Greene Room. And I recently actually just talked to Steve the other day and DM and congratulated him on him hitting 100,000. Because I remember when he was at 10 and he was so excited, and it's really cool to see what he's doing and so many of these other people, and congratulate Chris on his long hair and all this stuff they got going on.
Well, it's awesome. Well, I better go because I got to go help my husband with this 2-year-old who's screaming right now. So thank you so much, Cody, for being on the show. And thank you, everybody who's watching.
Great meeting you guys.
Please
too.
like
Thank
and
you.
subscribe. We always forget to say that, and share this video because everyone that you know in all the different Facebook groups, everybody knows Cody from some part in their e-commerce journey. So definitely share this video, and thank you guys all so much.
Thanks, Cody. Thanks for joining us.
Guys.
All right, bye.
Bye, guys.